Alright, what's up guys? I'm Armando.
I'm Daniel.
This is our very first YouTube video together. We've both done stuff separately, but we decided that we should do something together since we're living together.
So we wanted to bring y'all a Q&A. So we had a bunch of our friends send us in some questions through social media, just let them slide into our DMs. And so here we go.
I think I kind of brought up like the whole YouTube channels. Like we both kind of found out we had separate YouTube channels. And actually before you took your trip, you took a trip to Taiwan and other places. But I was like, yo, like what if like we start a YouTube channel together like when you come back? And so essentially that's what we're doing now. And it was just a kind of wing of the moment kind of thing, but figured why not do it for real. So
he said bet, and I was like, all right, bet, let's go.
Come to know Jesus. Well, let's see, my mom was actually first invited out to the church when I was 4. So I basically grew up in the church that we go to. So yeah, I mean, I've really believed in Jesus and God my entire life, but as far as like what God is showing in the season right now, I think it's really just trusting in His plan with a lot of things that are going on, just from finances to school to my work to just everyday choices. But I definitely feel like a lot of what God is saying to me is to just really trust in Him. So
it's not easy, I feel that. Yeah, like you said, I just came back from a trip, to the Philippines and then Vietnam. I got to volunteer at, a home or several homes for, underprivileged children, going through abuse and different things like that. Living in a first world country, we have so much, and I really felt like I could help bridge the gap, by giving my time, giving my money, to be able to help those kids have the future that they deserve. All right, there we go, something a little lighter. For me, I would have to go with R&B right away. R&B, from like the beginning of R&B to early 2000s to R&B today, like new school R&B and things like that. I guess some artists like to go with, right off the bat, I would say Chris Brown, Usher, Division. Division's really good. Sabrina Claudio, Brent Faiyaz, different R&B artists of like the newer generation. So I have to go with that for sure.
For me, it's pretty crazy with the journey of music. I grew up listening to a lot of Hispanic music, ranchero, mariachi. Even grew up listening to like oldies and R&B, hip hop. Even did jazz for 4 years in high school. But metal will always hold my heart. So I'm all about the metal. I was thinking about this earlier. There's a lot of things to consider when it comes to food. There's the texture, the color, how it looks, the taste, the smell even. But you know what? I think all in all, it just really comes down to flavor. I don't care what it looks like. I kind of care what it does smell like. But if it tastes good, I will eat it. I mean, think about it. If a cheeseburger didn't have the flavor, would you like the texture of the meat?
Yeah, probably not.
Exactly.
Probably not.
It's really just about, for me at least, it's really just about taste.
Okay. For me, food is an experience. My first favorite food that I ever had, and what is still my favorite food today, is my mom's spaghetti. And I remember eating it for the first time back home in the Philippines when I was like 3. So just like, it's an experience, that's what I love about food. And if it's a good one, you remember it and you want to eat it again. If it's a bad one, you also remember it. You can tell some funny stories and like, that's it, so it's like, it's a whole other world that, you don't need to think about like that. We kind of just eat it. But it's more than that. It's more than that.
Very true.
CSUN. Oh gosh, people sleep on CSUN, man. I feel like even CSUN students sleep on CSUN. It's the experience outside of the class that I feel like CSUN is really like a really like high standard on, about being able to have different resources to meet students' needs on campus. So we have a really diverse population at CSUN. And there are different programs, different resources available throughout the school that are available to meet the needs of different kinds of students, whether it's a club, whether it's a class, or just an on-campus resource. And it's a lot of fun just to be on campus and to be involved in different things like that. So
I don't get to see some, but it's I can tell you it's nice as heck.
Yeah,
so
it's nice as heck.
You know what? Mine's pretty cliche, but I have to say home in heaven. First of all, because we got a home in heaven. But you know what? Just like doing our rendition of it back home in Lancaster, like I make it pretty metal, throwing in my solos and like my riffs and stuff. But it's just a really fun song to play for me. But also the meaning behind it, just eventually, no matter what, we have our home in heaven. So.
Amen. For me, it would have to be Surely Goodness by Israel Houghton. First of all, it's based off one of my favorite Psalms, Psalm 23. And second of all, it has this whole like reggae vibe to it. It just brings a whole different sound to worship music, and that just reminds me, like, you know, no matter what kind of music it is, you know, you can worship God with it, and God's pleased by that.
I wouldn't. If it's there, I'll eat it, but I wouldn't necessarily pick it if I had a different choice.
Right.
So.
All right, I agree with you on that. I know this is a heated debate. You know, many of you guys may feel strongly towards one or another. Even in our own household, that, you know, sometimes we're divided on that.
Yeah.
For me though, like, if it's there, I'll eat it. You know, I'm like Armando. I won't order it. I won't pay for it myself. But, you know, if it's there, I'll eat it. It's cool. I like pineapple by itself. I like pizza by itself.
Yeah.
Like together, it's whatever.
You know what? I think that's another mood question. I mean, growing up, you know, there's always Hot Cheetos. There's always Hot Cheetos. Takis was more of a newer thing I discovered when I was like 11, 12, 13. The one thing I do appreciate about Takis is that it has more of a lime flavor than the Hot Cheetos do. That's for sure. It's a lot more prominent than the Hot Cheetos. But I think choice-wise, I'd have to go with Hot Cheetos. I mean, that's just my roots.
Yep, I feel that. Same. Hot Cheetos was like the OG snack. Like when I was in I think 5th grade, I had Hot Cheetos for the first time. And now they're bomb. Like I could just eat them all day. Like if you ever had Hot Cheetos with nacho cheese on them,
Yes.
so good.
Yes.
You get the lime and Hot Cheetos. You squeeze a little bit of lime on there. My sister taught me that trick, and that is pretty good.
My sister taught me that too.
yeah, so good. No, it's gonna be Hot Cheetos for me for sure.
Definitely mine is a Lion King. First of all, lions are my favorite jungle animal. And you know, I think there's a lot of hidden meaning behind the Lion King. There's not that a lot of people really dive into it. And it's really about finding yourself without, I think, the people that should be in your lives. I mean, just going back into my kind of thing, I didn't really grow up with my dad, and technically Simba didn't either. But he still found his way back to his pride, and he became the person he was supposed to become. You know, so I just feel like that kind of speaks to me on a personal level. So I think that's why it's my favorite Disney movie.
So my favorite Disney movie would have to be Ratatouille, because food. You know, obviously I love food, but just the whole story of a cooking rat, it's just kind of something that you wouldn't think about right off the bat. But it kind of changes the way that I would think about food, because, you know, it's an experience. And when Remy would cook, when Remy would eat, the way he just kind of experienced, even the colors in his head when he was eating, you know, that kind of changed the way I thought about food. And obviously French cuisine, all of that really good stuff, pasta, the soups, and the different dishes like that. It's just it was so cool. And that movie was super funny. Actually, I haven't seen it in a while, so I might watch it again.
I've seen it once.
Ever?
Once.
Bro, alright, we gotta watch it sometime soon. Yeah, so that would be mine.
Sheesh, too many. So the way my family's kind of set out, I'm the only child between my mom and my dad. And then I have 2 half siblings with my mom and my stepdad, and then 3 with my dad and my stepmom. So I have a total of 5. So 6 with me, but I have 5 siblings. I have 2 sisters, 3 brothers.
Shoot. 1 sister, 2 years younger. She's about to start college. My mind is blown, but I love her.
That's a good one, you know? That's a really good one. The first thing that comes to mind is for sure music. I mean, even though it's different types, that's really how we click.
That's true.
Marvel, for sure, dude. That's all we talk about in this house.
I feel like we definitely share a love for food.
Absolutely.
We can eat, just keep on eating, and, you know, just, I don't know.
So, yeah, we got music, Marvel, food.
God.
Yeah,
I have to say God is definitely one of the biggest
number
ones.
1, for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest ones.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting where we are.
Exactly. No, exactly. I don't know, no matter, we're so different, you know?
Yeah,
but,
seriously.
I definitely think we click with that.
There you go.
What got me to music at the very beginning was my dad. He loved the Beatles back in the day when he was in high school and college, and so he had the CDs that he bought, and he burned them into CDs that I could take with me. So I had a little CD player and headphones, and I would listen to it, you know, walking to school. You know, different albums you know, Abbey Road, Rubber Soul, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club. You know, it was the Beatles, and, you know, something I could be proud of to listen to. So shout out to them for being legends. Yeah.
I think it's a lot like Daniel's. I grew up listening to a lot of music, but there was never really a point until metal where I was I want to dive into this. And I think the first real metal song I heard was probably one by Metallica. I mean, super cliche when it comes to metal, but I mean, That's what just it consumed my soul. So yeah, I mean, I have a Metallica guitar. I have like 4 of their vinyls. I have like half their albums. I've seen Metallica twice.
Dang.
It's not just Metallica though. There's a huge subgenre under metal as well that I'm also into. But Metallica is definitely the band that got me there, like a lot of others.
Oh gosh. Okay, so favorite superhero, hands down for me, would have to be Iron Man. Man, I was blown away when I saw the first Iron Man. Where he came from, first of all, like he was already on top and he got knocked down, and like to see him really like in his element, like figuring out how to like build the different like pieces of the armor that he was going to use for his first suit, and then all the way evolved into like the Infinity War suit that he had. It was crazy, like the nanotech.
We even talked about that like after watching Infinity War, like going back to the very first Iron Man movie and seeing him like grow into the person he is in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of character development.
Crazy. He's an OG. He's definitely one of the OG.
Sure.
So that's why he's one of my favorites.
Superpower you would have and what you would use it for?
Oh gosh, for me it's always been a tie between time travel and flight. But just for how many movies I've seen where time travel can just mess everything up, I'm gonna have to go with flight. Cause I just want to fly away from my problems. No, I'm just kidding.
For me, definitely gonna go with Wolverine. It's my man. The thing I really appreciate about him is like, this guy never gives up. Ever, it might seem like he will at some points, but he always comes back and just finishes what he's got to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best at what he does. And what he does is very nice.
Yeah, that's true.
Aside from that, this guy never gives up, and he's sick, dude. As far as superpowers I would have and what I would use it for, a healing factor like Wolverine would be really nice.
Oh,
but there's some versions of it where you can share that. So if I could share my healing ability with others, like for a specific purpose at least, I think that'd be really cool. Like, hey, do you have cancer? Like, hey, take some of my blood. Like, let's do it. It may not be a permanent cure for like a worldwide thing, but like, hey, it's like, hey, if I really care about you, and you got cancer and you're dying, like, hey man, I got you.
You'd do that for me, right?
I'd do that for you in a heartbeat.
I guess like, 3 things. Food, no doubt. Food would have to be on there for me to be happy. The Word of God, can't forget about the Word of God. That really definitely keeps me grounded despite like the different things going around me. Music would definitely have to be there. It just brings like another element to your life when everything around you isn't enough. You can add music to it, and you can like make things more exciting. You can definitely just like relate to the music, different things like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to steal 2 straight off the bat from you. It'd be food and music. That's like so it keeps me running. Right. My life. Number 3, honestly, man. You took 2 of mine. What was your second one? Oh, the Word of God.
Yeah, the Word of God.
I don't want to steal that because I don't want to just be you, but that's a very good.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Especially just being the people we are. Those are the things that really keep us going. Like I said, every day.
Yeah.
So food, music, and the Word of God. Those are essentials for us. For sure. Honestly, for me, like even to this day, like I'm still socially awkward around people. Like it's not that I don't want to go out of my way to talk to you, but it's not like that's an insecurity that I have. Like what if I say something stupid and stutter? I don't stutter, but what if that happens? It's just more of a subconscious kind of thing, I guess. Like I don't want to look stupid in front of somebody that I'm meeting. So I think I would definitely change that and not be so insecure about what I can say when I meet people.
If I could change one thing about myself, it would be my forgetfulness. I could lose, oh my gosh, my keys, I lose water bottles, headphones, just like essentials. Like I'd be losing those things. Like things that I don't really care about, I can like keep track of them. But then like the stuff that I need and I use all the time, for some reason I just lose them. Like even clothes. I lost
what?
Yeah, I don't know. I lose clothes sometimes. I don't know where they go. So that was crazy. So I would definitely change that for sure. Eating. Yeah, for sure, honestly. It's eating. Yeah, like you look at me, right? Like I'm like a twig, right? Like I'm like super skinny, but then like put me at a buffet.
Sheesh.
Oh, it's game over. Korean
5
barbecue.
plates easily.
Oh my
easily
goodness.
5 plates.
Sushi. All you can eat sushi. Oh, it's over. And then we have room for dessert still too. Like, give me some Hazukis. Give me some of this ice cream,
nice
cake. Oh my gosh. Food definitely.
Yeah, for sure. I've always wanted a double-bladed lightsaber, like a real Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber.
Sheesh.
You know, I might cut an arm off or something. But it'd be cool to have. So no big deal.
Yeah, use the Force responsibly. If I could own any item from a franchise, it would definitely have to be Iron Man's suit. Like on a scientific standpoint, it's a whole different conversation. It's amazing, but like the looks. I remember even how he got like the colors of it, like in the movie, right? He got like the hot rod red and like the gold. Like that was so sick. But just like it gives me the ability to fly, it gives me the super strength. I can like fly underwater and like take apart an alien spaceship and like save the world. So I wouldn't mind doing that in a suit.
All right, well, that's all the questions you guys brought to us for today. You can always drop some more in the comments below for the next Q&A that we got if we decide to do one. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time.